How's it going, everyone? Mahaji here, back at it with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new and improved cooler. Now, look guys, I'm not going to cap to you, I'm not going to hold you. I think the character's kind of broken, but that's just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to like, subscribe, share or anything like that, but if you did, it really help the boy out, you know what I'm saying? But first and foremost, let's just start with the buffs real quick. So he received a couple of them. 5H in particular received a couple of buffs. It increased hit stun during the camera effect. Basically, the 5H has more hit stun, increased block stun, increased opponent's hit stop. Those just have to deal with on block. Those are both really good, and I'm going to showcase them right now because let's just kind of put this in context of the character. So this character was already known for his very lengthy normals. To him, obviously the GOAT. You just throw this out whenever you want to check someone. 13 frames, you can't react to that bad boy. And 5M, really good as well. And of course the Miracle Worker, JM. So all of these normals were really good. And the cherry on top was 5H, just because it went damn near full screen. As you can see, it basically just shows up right in front of you. But in the recent patch, they actually made it to where his 5H is -1. Would you look at that? So -1, what does this mean for the character? So -2 is sort of like the magic number for people to be able to like backdash things or like do a frame 4 reversal, stuff like that. But he doesn't have a frame 4 reversal, and he doesn't need it because he can just jump. He can just jump. I want to go back to neutral. I don't like the situation. I'm out. So he can do that as well as backdash. He can actually do something like this too, where if the opponent is not kind of checking, they can actually kind of get folded by something like that too, for reasons I'll go into later. But yeah, so they just made it -1, which is really good because no other normal goes this far and is -1. It's just unheard of. I mean, even Baby's 5M, which is 17 frames, is kind of not doing this, or not 17, excuse me, it got buffed as well. 15 frames, it's not going this far, and it's still -1. So yeah, this character, he's kind of eating on block, right? And as you can see, I have him set to guard first only. Yeah. So they increased the block stun of it entirely and made it to where he can actually jail specials now. So things like this work, that jails, and the icing on top is the fact that he was sort of known for his like, if you knew about it then you could do something about it type pressure, but you can't 2H this anymore. Have him set to 2H. You cannot deal with this. You have to either hold it or you have to reflect him. And good luck reflecting him, because if you reflect him, then obviously you're gonna get smoked, right? So huge buff to his overall style of play, just to bully, get in, kind of run his offense, kind of just do whatever. And now he's plus for the most part, so really good for Cooler's offense. And in terms of 5H itself, 5H was actually really good beforehand without all of these buffs, just because if you did it, then there was an OS. So if this hit, then there's a camera effect, right? And I'll just show you right now. So if I do 5H to the beam, right, that was what it looks like on what it looks like on block. And then if you did it on hit, as you can see, I'm inputting the beam on the left side, and it's just not coming out. And the reason for that is because the animation of the hit is so long that it actually gives you so much time to actually not buffer anything, and you can just confirm, which is really good. And this is more so the case now, just because everything gels. So if I do this, I don't have to worry about it not gelling. So yeah, really good for the character. Second buff to 5H, which I think is also really good. It actually has to deal with what we just talked about. And when 5H now hits on, or when it just hits, it has more hit stun. So to put this in context, .4 mid screen, right? And the new version, right? That's not optimized at all. Just to be clear, that's like a mid-screen route, no corner dwelling, nothing like that. But I just did 1,000 more damage already off of a confirm that was already really good for the character. So we're to be, you know, 18% I think is like the margin that I labbed before, but I mean 18% is a lot of damage, especially off of a normal that is so considerably large that you can just kind of confirm it now. But you get the idea. So yeah, overall big buffs, big dubs. Character is eating with his 5H. Now let's talk about the next buff I want to talk about is the Death Chaser. So Death Chaser is actually his 236M, adjusted distance move during the grounded version and sped the startup of the grounded version. So not the air version, only the grounded version, and this is what it looks like now. So as you can see, it's 29 frames of startup, and it's +3. Not bad. Honestly, it's it might change from character to character, but +3 is actually one of the better numbers. +4, never mind. So yeah, this is actually really good for the character in terms of like baiting spark still, just because if the opponent knows that you want to bait their spark, doing this is pretty obvious, right? The best option is the best option until they know, and then it's the worst option, right? But in terms of how it works now, the only significant change that I can kind of understand for it is the fact that it works from this distance. So this is going to be +5, right? And this is, you know, full screen. So if you just want to get in there, that's pretty good. 31 frame startup, it's reactable. You will probably get 2H for this, but there's a couple of things you can do with it as well. Kind of, you know, feint it out with something like that, or just like kind of, you know, mix up your options, do something like this. It's actually not bad. It's one of the weirder changes, I think, just because I didn't really consider 236M to be anything but a you know, spark baiter before, but now it's kind of decent as a neutral tool. Still, the air version has been unchanged, which is not bad, just because it's still get out of there tool from the corner. So yeah, I mean, overall decent change. Not really crazy, but you know, it's still pretty good. The next change I want to talk about is the Death Shaker. Now, this is a very, very, very good buff. And the reason for this is because it used to be 22 frames from full screen, but now it's 18 frames. Unreactable for anyone who doesn't know. And it also deals with a lot of things now that it didn't used to. So this sequence used to be harder to jail, and now it just kind of jails for free. If I can time it correctly. So yeah, this jails, which is really, really good. And not only that, but since it's so fast now, since it's unreactable, I should say, there's actually a mind game you can play with this special now that you couldn't before, and it's the fact that this is a full screen low and people really don't want to jump it. So what do you do when they respect it? You just get in there. So he actually has one of the few cases where a full screen projectile plus a lariat is actually much better than other characters, because other characters can't do this. They can't, you know, sort of establish the same mind game without having a key blast or anything like that. So yeah, this is, I mean, Death Chaser, it got one of the best buffs in its entire kit. Honestly, it's just really, really strong now. Or not Death Chaser, Death Shaker, excuse me. Everything's, why is there so much death in this kit, man? I mean, I don't even think he killed that many people in the movie, did he? I don't think he did. Let's see. He even killed Piccolo when he had the chance, honestly. Let's see. Death Crasher, increased stun time when the attack lands at a distance. So this is a typo. I think the Death Crasher they're talking about is actually Death Flash, which is the beam. And the beam got the same universal buff that every other beam got, you know, where it's like from full screen, this now connects. As you can see, it has more hit stun than normal, and you can just kind of do this, or you can do in a combo, you can do this. So it's not bad. It's not something that I think he needed, but I mean, it's still good to have. His beam is actually one of the safer ones in the game. Base Goku's, if you Tiger Knee it, which means if you just do like this, where you barely hit them, or you jump and do the beam, it's actually -2. His is -7 without having a TK. So his beam is actually not bad. His also hits higher than normal beams too, so it'll catch a lot of people if they're not careful. This change, it's not really that crazy. It's just like a little bit more damage tacked on. His corner carry is still really good. So yeah, this is one of those like kind of like niche like quality of life changes that everyone got, which is, you know, it's not bad, but by no means is it like game changing for the character. And the last thing it says is for Death Chaser, which is his level 1, or Death Crasher in the air. So it's sped up the attack startup. It's not really considerable. I checked it out. It wasn't crazy at all. I don't know why they really changed it. I guess it was like a quality of life thing. Maybe the super should not whiff so much or anything like that. But I mean, it's okay. So overall, I think the character received a lot of good buffs. And what's going to make the character really scary is the fact that his neutral is now kind of fleshed out to not just be, oh, I'm going to 3H, or I'm going to, you know, kind of like make sure you can't approach me with this, or, you know, do you know, all of the cooler shenanigans that he's known for. He actually has some depth now, just because he, you know, kind of makes you respect his ground game, right? And once you start respecting his ground game, then what can you do? You want to stall all day, and then I just, you know, kind of call my assist and bring you back down, you know? And for the characters that he you know, he can do the J2H on, he actually does better now than he needed the J2H. I honestly don't think the J2H is that crazy of a game plan stipulation anymore. However, I think if you can do it, I think you should. It's still really, really good for a character whose neutral is already impressive. And now his neutral is even more impressive because you have the mind games, you have, you know, 5H, that's really good. Of course, I'm playing a team that specializes in dealing with assist. So, for example, if I have the opponent do, you know, something like this, right? So if I have something like this, right? Death Shaker is going to hit the assist, and if I do this, it's going to hit the assist behind them as well. So my team is specifically designed just to deal with assist and counter calling and making sure that when my turn is here, that I can actually pressure you. And Cooler is so much more emphasized now that he's actually kind of doing it better than everyone else on my team, I'll be honest. And not only do I think he got buffed, I think the characters that he plays well with, like 18 for example, I think she got buffed too. Especially because she got, you know, grounded barrier, and now she doesn't have to worry so much about doing it herself, that even something like this is not necessary anymore outside of, you know, frame 4 reversal territory, stuff like that. It's just like they really just made the character stronger in the meta. So yeah, overall I think the character is in a very, very good spot.